Okay, so like I said, just like every day, you've unmuted your camera. If you want to ask questions, please ask away. Anyone? There's got to be questions. Yeah, there you go. Go ahead. Yes.
So for arginine, what is the benefit of arginine? I've heard about that before.
Yeah, I love it. So arginine, it opens up blood vessels and allows for more blood flow to the muscle. So when you're working out, especially like whether it's a weight training or a cardio workout, it is awesome. A half an hour before, that's what was in my shake that you saw me drinking this morning. It has arginine and a whole bunch of very available carbohydrates in the form of lactate to give my muscles that instant energy. So arginine opens up blood vessels, allows more blood flow to the muscle.
And do you have one that you recommend?
I do, yep. So I use a company, the name of the company is called Advocare. And if you want to contact me through the portal or just email me, I will give you a link to get 10% off if you want. But that is my favorite one. You want to grab it, Rich? And I've been using that one, and I was telling everybody in the beginning, for 11 years. And it's not one that it's like, oh, this doesn't work anymore. So it's arginine with a whole bunch of other amino acids in it. So I'll just kind of come up here real tight for you so you can kind of see. Okay, it's called Arginine Extreme. And banned substance free. So this is really important, guys, as far as supplements go. I'm going to come in. Woo. Can you see that? It's kind of glary.
That's the first filter.
What's that? It's a what?
First filter we go through. If it doesn't
Anyway, this is the first filter right here. Okay, this is called Informed Choice. Advocare, this company doesn't need to test products because guess what? Supplements are not regulated, okay, by the FDA. So nobody has to, but Advocare goes above and beyond and pays a lot of money to test from raw ingredients all the way to batch. Okay, so it's really important. I'm not going to put stuff in my body that's not tested and that it has no banned substances. They test up to like 240 banned substances. So it's not going to give you that like crazy bodybuilder, like freakazoid look. Okay, does that help, Kelly?
That's great, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Nance?
So in your shake you had, that was a meal replacement shake, or is it just a protein shake, or what is
which one? The one that I had earlier today?
Yeah.
Before? No. So that is a pre-workout shake. So that's a pre-workout. That pre-workout shake, like I said, has some arginine, a lot of amino acids. I also take some branched chain amino acids. You maybe heard BCAA. So I take those in pill form, and then it has a readily available quick lactate. Okay, so yeah. So that's what it is. It's a pre-workout drink, but I can share that with you as well. And it doesn't have caffeine. So that like I always say, I have my Spark early in the morning. I don't need any more caffeine. Listen, I'm like the Energizer Bunny. It's not an energy thing for me. It's the mental focus for me to stay focused in my workouts, to stay focused in my work all day long. Okay? Yeah. So anybody else? Yeah? Okay. Go ahead. Perfect, Tommy. Go ahead.
Do you have a...
We'll do Tommy first and then Jane. Is it Jane? Is that right? Okay, Jane, we'll do you after Tommy, okay? Go ahead, Tommy.
Do you have a macro calculator that you recommend?
You know, there's so many out there. You can just, anyone on the internet. I don't really recommend anyone. I mean, literally just put in Google macro calculator. And so really important. And if people don't know what macros are, these are your macros. Okay, protein, carbs, fat. I think they tried to make again, I still talk about protein, carbs, and fat. You heard that I didn't say macros the whole time, right? I didn't talk about macros because it confuses people. They don't know. They're like, what are my macronutrients? These are your nutrients. These are the only 3 things you get calories from, okay? So really important that people understand that your macros are based on your lean tissue. So what are macros? Your carbs, protein, fat. It's based on how much lean tissue you have. So if you weighed 100 pounds and you had 20% body fat, I'm going to do a quick math here for you, make it easy math. You'd have 20 pounds of fat. You'd have 80 pounds of lean. Now, does that mean muscle? No, that's organs, bones, and muscle. Okay, that is all live in your body that needs to be fed. So when you're thinking of macros, you've got to think, okay, I have 80 pounds of lean tissue, organs, bones, muscle. How much activity do I do? Okay, so that's the size of your engine. Okay, how far and fast does it drive in a day? How much energy are you expending? So that's what we need to do. We need to match your macros, quote unquote macros right here, right, to your activity level. Because if you're trying to lose fat, we need to make sure that we're balancing the protein, carbs, and fat for something that is going to work for your body to burn more fat, right? So again, we're always balancing carbs, protein, fat. We might cut down. So we might say, don't have a starchy carb at the end of the day, have it earlier in the day and just double up on your proteins end of the day to burn more fat, okay? So understand, find out if you guys can, this is real, this is like my most important thing. I don't really care what your body fat is, honestly. I care how much lean tissue you have, because all we're trying to do is we're trying to increase lean, decrease fat, right? That's what we're always trying to do, to stay at a really healthy level of fat in our bodies. Okay, so when you're doing that, a lot of times what happens is it's the opposite, because people are not eating enough, so their muscle tissue is being eaten by their brain and their fat tissue just continues to go up, so they become skinny fat. Have you heard that expression, skinny fat? Okay, you're very jiggly. Okay, so most important, figure out how much expenditure you do, then you calculate those macros based on that. Okay, Tommy?
Thank you.
You're welcome, my pleasure. Yeah, Jane, go ahead. Jane, thanks for joining. You came in kind of late in the program, so I didn't get to really focus on you so much. So go ahead.
I do it, I'm on Central Time, so I'm not with you. Yeah, I'm Pacific Time. What about fruits earlier in the day? Is there any truth to that?
What, having fruits earlier in the day? I'll give you twofold. Yes and no, based on somebody's their goals. If they need to lose a lot of fat, I will definitely keep fruits earlier in the day. But the key to fruits is using or eating low sugar fruits. So low sugar fruits come in the form of berries, green apples, pears, apricots, peaches, plums. Those are super low. The ones that are a little bit higher are your bananas, your citrus, okay? Those are a little higher in sugar. Your grapes, super high in sugar, okay? These are awesome. I mean, I'd eat those right, like I'd have that before bed. Honestly, with some real whipped cream. That's one of my favorite snacks at night, is real berries with real whipped cream, not the crap that comes out of a can and stuff like that. Anyway, so yes, so based on the goals of somebody, I will definitely keep the sugars earlier in the day, because remember, your metabolism starts up here and then it's down here at the end of the day. So we don't want a lot of those energy type carbs like a rice or even a high sugar fruit, because we want our bodies to go to the fat store, right? We don't want it to have sugar, like, because I want it to go to the fat burning. Does that make sense? Okay. Anything else, Jane?
What's your thoughts on smoothies?
Love them. What kind of smoothie?
Oh, we do a lot of green smoothies.
Love it. Love it. As long as it doesn't have a ton of sugar in it. So like, I love smoothies that have everything from kale to like all green, so it tastes green, so it doesn't taste like apple juice. Okay, because a lot of people are like, I love smoothies, but I put in strawberries and blueberries and apple and then they're like, then I put celery in. I'm like, that's not a greens. That's not a greens shake. But does that make sense? So having it mostly greens and then adding a little bit, maybe a half an apple to add a little bit of sweetness if you don't really like the greens flavor. And again, like the same thing I was telling you before, I love a greens powder too, a very good one. Greens powder, and I like a reds powder. So sometimes I like more of a berry type drink, and sometimes I like more of a greens drink. But I love smoothies, absolutely.
I put matcha.
Yeah, maca, that's great, especially, I mean, I'm 53, so I'm in menopause right now. So maca helps so much with hot flashes. I used to get, like, I'm looking at my husband, I'm like, I don't even know how many a day I used to get. But I use something called Formula W that has maca in it. So I don't put maca in my drink, but I use maca in a pill form.
Okay.
Yeah. You're welcome. Anybody else? Lisa, Susan, yep. Tommy, you want to go again? Yep. Tommy?
Oh yeah. Do you like the book, The Zone, then, or?
I do love it. Don't get The Zone. Get Mastering the Zone, because that was very academic. Like I said, the mastering the zone. So understand, when you start to master the zone, you won't even need to do blocks anymore. You'll understand what that means when you read it or listen to it. The blocks are very confusing to people because it's very, like, that's why I needed my brother-in-law to decipher it for me. But the blocks are things like this. This is like a blocked meal. That's a blocked meal because each one of the foods come in a block, they call it, and you'll understand it, but it's exactly what I'm teaching you.
Thank you.
I don't want any portions.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
he's
okay.
an
Yeah.
endocrinologist, so he's complicated, and he's in.
Yeah. My husband's saying, Barry Sears is brilliant, right? So that first book, I was like, oh my gosh, I need
He's
like
diabetes
somebody
and-
who's like a PhD to read this for me.
endocrinologist.
And I'm not a dummy, obviously, but it was very academic. But we're talking about like eyeballing your portion sizes. That's why I always use hands, because you can take those to a restaurant. You can take those, so just know that, okay? So I hope that helps.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Lisa or anybody? Who else do we have still on here? Yeah, Mercy, Suzanne. Yeah, Suzanne, did you want to ask something, or can you unmute yourself? Did you want to ask something?
Yes.
Okay,
I
sure.
wanted to kind of ask about, like, is there a place in treat, like, you you eat like this most of the time, but then you're going to go out to dinner sometimes. And, the science behind that is, I've read things that it kind of resets your metabolism a little bit if you're just kind of go and have, like, and not worry about all that fats and carbs and all that stuff. So if you did that like once a week, that I've read things about resetting. I think it's resetting your leptin levels or something like that. Do you know anything about that?
Sure. So let me touch on, so in our program, you'll see like the nutrition plan that I gave you, you'll see it says like treat brunch, okay? We're all about treats, okay? Now a cheat is something different, okay? So the cheat is something that's not planned. A treat is planned. So that's
Right.
where people get into trouble, because I'll look at our accountability people and I'm like, they send me like 3 pieces of pizza. I'm like, did we plan that? I don't remember us planning that. They're like, no, it was a cheat, like that. So, but at least they're honest with me, so I can know what they're doing if they screwed up. And leptin, ghrelin, so the leptin levels and stuff. So leptin, ghrelin there's a gland in the brain that secretes that. Okay, so when our bodies it's like insulin, right? It gets kicked on and gets turned off. Now, people who have like yo-yo dieted their whole life, that gland, it just like a pancreas, shuts down and it doesn't work anymore. And what that does is it helps you with satiation, right? So it makes you feel satisfied. So when they talk about leptin, ghrelin, oh yeah, you're gonna be satisfied when you have that nice meal, right? Your brain's gonna trigger, it's gonna be like, oh God, that's great. Then the next day you get back on. We always say you're one meal away from being good again. Okay, so if you have not yo-yo dieted, Suzanne, and you have, pretty much stayed status quo for a while, that gland's still working for you. That hormone, that leptin ghrelin hormone is still working for you. It's the people that I'm dealing with that have over 100 pounds of fat to lose, that it's like non-existent. So again, I'll give them a supplement too that will help with that. Okay, that will help with that too. But resetting your metabolism, I won't say that. What resets your metabolism is a nice cleanse, so a 3 or a 10-day cleanse. That will definitely reset your metabolism because it cleans out the gut, it kind of scrub brushes the intestines. But we're all over it. We're an 80-20 family. We have our treats, we have our alcohol, but we exchange it. You know what I mean? So if you go out to dinner and you're thinking, okay, I want or you're going out to dinner, just say tomorrow night, Friday night. That's our Pizza Friday. Okay, our family does Pizza Friday. Sometimes we do something more fatty or whatever, but anyway, normally we'll have a glass of wine or I'll have a margarita or whatever. So if I know I'm going to have that, this is an exchange right here. Okay? Or I'll even say this, even though I don't really eat bread, I eat Ezekiel only, but this is liquid bread. Okay? So now how many pieces of liquid bread would you have at the end of the day? I mean, would you have 2? Right? Would you have 3? Now, how many pieces of bread do you want to eat at the end of the day, right? So this is like the exchange. So 1, 2, 3. So you've got to exchange it during the day. So you've got to take out your starches. So you're going to add, instead of me having these oats, I'm going to scramble in veggies with this. Okay, instead of having my rice here, I'm going to double up my veggies there. Okay, there's 2 glasses of wine right there. Does that make sense? Right? So I gotta exchange for the carb. Okay, so it's really important too, guys, because you know, you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? So you can't have all of this and then pile on 3 more pieces of bread at the end of the day. So just exchange it. I'm all about being normal. Like, I'm not a crazy people like, do you ever cheat? I'm like, no, I don't cheat, but I treat myself, right? Because it's planned. It's always planned. Okay. Maybe every once in a while I'll go stop and get a frozen yogurt with my daughter. That's not planned. So what? I mean, it's all good. It's normal.
Every time when someone cheats, they didn't eat.
Oh yeah, so even Rich is saying, anytime somebody cheats too, just understand this, all of you, or just, it's because they've gone too long without eating. Literally, they might eat in here, they didn't eat here. All of a sudden it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they're like, chocolate. And it's just because their blood sugar's through the floor and their body is like, get me something, like a piece of cake, something that's gonna give my brain sugar like in an instant. Your brain is so smart, and I told you this yesterday post, that when your brain is starving, the first thing it looks for is sugar. And it doesn't matter what it is. You'll go to that dry covered in your thing and you'll be like, Triscuits, chips, like, and nothing will satiate you at that point. When you've gone that long without eating, there's nothing stopping that brain from getting what it needs. Because the brain, if it doesn't get food, right, if you don't trigger it in time, the brain is going to go to your muscles and it's going to eat your muscle up, and it's going to catabolize your muscle. And so that's where the body fat goes down, and the muscle lean tissue goes down, the fat increases. Okay, and I do want to say this for those who talked about keto, the intermittent fasting, paleo, Atkins, Cambridge, what other ones? You can throw them out there, whatever ones are out there, right? There's a million programs that have come and gone in my 30 years. Every 10 years, it like recycles itself. It's like bell-bottom jeans. They come, they go, high-waisted, low-waisted. I mean, come on. It's gonna come and go again. I don't know what the next one's gonna be called, but intermittent fasting, we talked about it in the beginning. Feast and famine. People are like, yeah, but I've lost weight. I'm like, great. Do you know what you lost? You lost muscle. And guess what? When they try to transition off of that, what happens is their body gains a lot of fat because their body is so used to not having any of it. That's why I believe in balance. Balance those blood sugars, balancing your carbs, protein, and fat, because it's really important. Oh, as Rich is saying, overeating is always a result of undereating. That's always the case. People who overeat during the end of the day is because they underate earlier in the day. Okay, so people who are not breakfast people, please become breakfast people, please. Fire up that metabolism. My daughter's one of those. She's like my mom. I think I named her after my mom. Her name's Margaret. We call her Maggie. But my mom is not a breakfast eater, and I literally have to chisel it into her brain to make her eat. So any other questions, guys? So I can let you go and be respectful of your time. Any other questions? Yeah, Nance?
Not really a question, but just a comment that I've been following the meal plan this week, and just in a few days, I've noticed a difference because
Awesome.
I don't eat enough during the day, and so I'm just forcing myself to have those in between healthy snacks, in between the protein and the veggies and stuff like that.
Right.
I've noticed energy and just different, and I know that if I continue on for the next few weeks, I'll probably see a difference.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and it's like, it maybe a clearer of mind, maybe even too, feeling better, having energy throughout the day. That's the key. You want to feel like, people always say they want to look better. Okay, that's great, but you got to feel better first. You got to start feeling better because when you feel better, because you're eating better, you're going to keep doing it because you don't want to feel crappy, right? So it's just such a win-win when you're eating well and consistent over time. Okay, so just keep doing what you're doing.
Snacks just help you control your meals.
Yeah, Rich is even saying, the snacks like that we're always recommending snacks. They just help you control the blood sugar, and they help you control your hunger.
And
You know, so your portion sizes, they'll never be gigantic because you're not that hungry. When you get to your next meal, you shouldn't be growling. Like, you should be eating before your stomach starts to growl. If your stomach starts to growl, that's acid in your stomach going, feed me, right? So now you got an acid ball in your stomach, and then you throw food on top of that, and then it's like a double acid, like, explosion, okay? So I'm glad to hear that, Nancy. I'm glad to hear that the nutrition plan's working for you.
Yeah, that whole eat less, move more thing is kind of,
Yes, eat, and not even eating less, but eating smaller portions. Yes, that's exactly it. Eat less more times a day. Sure. Yeah, anybody else, Lisa?
You answered all my questions.
Oh, I did. Good, good. And listen, if there's something that comes up, you're like, oh, I wanted to ask her that, please, by all means, please do. I'm just, you know, you can get me through the portal or through an email, even through Instagram. If that's an easier way for you to contact me, just let me know. Okay? So we'll see you tomorrow morning. Go hydrate and go feed yourself right now with a good protein shake or post-workout shake. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. Have an awesome day. See you later. I love Mercy. I love how you're eating. I don't know who just brought you some food, but I love it. All right. Have an awesome day, guys. Mwah. Love you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.